This is probably one of the most important readings I'm going to make at this time. I think that it is really worth watching, no matter where you are, no matter, no matter what, because I feel like there are messages in this that are going to be little mini lifesavers, just little mini ones, nothing like dramatic or terrible, but it's mainly to kind of really help you through this period of time, which is this Mercury retrograde. Okay, so any kind of Mercury retrograde, I feel like this reading can help you tremendously, and I am going to explain everything as I go along. And yeah, this is a Mercury retrograde reading, but also I just wanted to mention this is for all star signs. So if you're here, it's a sign in itself that this reading can really help you. I also wanted to mention as well that if you would like to win a free reading with me, check out the description box below, since I do giveaways every single month. If you would like to purchase any personal services with me, check them out. They're all listed down below and also on my website for healing and rituals and energy work, but also for boosting different areas of your life and also black magic removal and things like that. I also have intention manifesting items on my website, which thousands of people have seen results with. So the review section is at the bottom of my website, and there's different intention items for lots of different areas of your life, and there's items like bracelets, necklaces, anklets, pom-poms, tassels, embroidered cards which you can put under your pillow, your wallet or your purse, intention pouches, there's ornaments, crystals, candles, sage, etc. Everything is listed down below. Alright, so let's begin for Mercury retrograde. Okay, now what is a Mercury retrograde for those of you that are maybe new, okay, or if you just want another explanation, it's totally fine. Mercury retrograde is when Mercury goes into a backspin. Now, it's not actually moving backwards, but from our position on Earth, it looks like it's going backwards, okay? It's like a little optical illusion. And during this time, Mercury does kind of some problematic things, okay? And what it basically does is, we know that Mercury is all about information, ideas, communication, technology, even travel and plans and things like that. Well, it puts those things into a bit of a backwards notion, okay? So what can happen, and what I genuinely believe can happen, is that it's really a time where you want to up your spiritual practices. The reason I say that is because there can be miscommunications with people around you, like family and friends, or even in regards to love. There can be people taking things wrong, okay, when it's not even your fault, okay. The other thing is there can be a lot of glitches in technology. There can be glitches with, if you're trying to buy something, if you're trying to, if someone's scanning something in a shop, if you're buying online, if you are just trying to place an order, if you are trying to, just even get into certain accounts that you have, you can find that there are glitches, there are bugs. It can be annoying, it can be frustrating. Let's say you are trying to do something and suddenly your computer shuts off, or your phone shuts off, or it freezes, or you're trying to work, you're working very hard on something and you haven't saved it yet. Just save it in between. It's very, very common that during a Mercury retrograde, these glitches and little troubles can happen, especially with communication. Also, there can be false news that gets spread around, not in regards to you, but you might just find that there's, news that doesn't quite sound right, and there can be false news that gets spread around because people might have misheard things. Okay, so this is another thing, especially with justice, is that's what I see, okay? That is literally what I see, is that there can be like false news, and there can be, again, these miscommunications. And also the Strength card here shows it can really irk you, it can frustrate you, it can annoy you so much, but honestly, the more you are able to kind of do spiritual practices, the more you can also ward off some of these retrograde energies, believe it or not. So I think that's very important, although you will deal with something along the way. So that's the other thing, is you can't completely get rid of the energies, but you can kind of help yourself in regards to how much of it you deal with. So that's another thing. Okay, now the Page of Swords is an adventure card. If you are planning any trips, there you go. Literally, as we're literally talking about the Page of Swords and traveling, we have the Fool card. If you're planning any kind of trips, any kind of travel, check before you travel, okay? If you're going by car, if you're going by plane, if you're going by train, just check, the roads. Check, especially on the radio in this country, you get all of the updates for everything, literally the train stations, literally the roads, literally, airlines and things like that. So it's just about checking before you travel. You may also find that there are little minor delays here and there that can happen during a Mercury retrograde. Now, The interesting thing here is that Mercury retrograde can also bring people from the past, which is literally the first thing that I actually did see, but I was kind of also wanting to explain the other aspects. So justice here shows that certain relationships, certain connections can be reconciled. Certain connections can also, certain people can want to come to you and resolve something with you. Strength card here shows that people that have not had very much courage can suddenly find that they have so much courage to come towards you, to say something, to do something, to progress towards you. You know, family members that perhaps you haven't spoken to in a while, friends you haven't spoken to in a while, might come to you and suddenly and very spontaneously have something to say to you. They want to talk to you. They appreciate your energies. They see your value now. It's very common that these people can come towards you. Mercury retrograde is not, it's not the devil, okay? It's not the worst thing on the planet. We've been through plenty of them in our lifetime. This one, however, is quite another story, okay? It is quite another story. It can be, what's the word? It can be a little bit problematic, okay? Just a little bit, because it is quite a heavy one, okay? But it's not going to like ruin your life completely or anything like that, okay? From what I'm seeing here, these are minor little things, right? I mean, it might, you know, maybe it might annoy you, right, for a little period of time, but then things go kind of back to normal. So Two of Pentacles here, yeah, okay, this is that annoying energy where you literally feel like, oh, it's up and down, like, you know, one day you find that, you know, you charge your phone, but then it decides to turn off by itself, or you plan something and then it gets delayed. Things like that can happen. Now we've got here Temperance, which is also patience, okay? The best thing that you can have during any kind of Mercury retrograde is patience. Okay, patience, especially when people misunderstand things. Patience also, if you accidentally write the wrong thing, if you accidentally send the wrong thing, you know, it's really also about being patient with yourself. Do not rush yourself during a Mercury retrograde. Make sure you recheck things. Make sure you double check things. Letters, numbers, spellings. If you're signing something, reread. Okay, very, very important. If you're getting important work done, just check that you have done it, that it's secure, you haven't left things randomly lying around. Again, Chariot is very much so that emphasis on travel, which we did see before. So that's, again, very important. King of Swords, the more diplomatic you can kind of be during this time, the better it is, especially for communication with those that are a little bit more difficult to deal with. And the Six of Swords here also shows here as well that, look, again, people can be kind of circling back around in your life. It's your choice whether you want, if you want them or not. But essentially, that's another thing that I see. Well, we kind of already saw it, and there's a card that fell on the floor. Let me just keep shuffling. Okay, 1 second. Let me just grab the card that fell on the floor. Also, passwords. Make sure that if you know that you have a very weak password, you change it, things like that. If you forget your passwords, I mean, I can't really give you advice on what you should do in order to like kind of save your passwords. I mean, you know, if you know that you forget passwords, it's good to write it down, but just obviously make sure you write it down in a place that is extremely secure and things like that. I mean, I remember all of mine, but I know that not everyone can. So this is really important, that if you do write things down and it's sensitive, it's confidential information, make sure you know where you've put it and things like that. I think the main thing here is just being a bit more aware of everything in that sense. Mercury retrograde is, yeah, it's annoying. I'm not even gonna lie to you, okay? It can be very annoying. However, it serves a purpose, and a lot of that purpose is to do with organization, right? Mercury retrograde, I think, kind of makes us be a bit more organized sometimes, and also it kind of makes us let go of things that we can't control, which actually is a blessing in many ways, because, you know, so much of the time the Mercury energy, of course, rules over a sign, which is Virgo. And, you know, you kind of want to be organized. You want this to be like this and that to be like that. Look, I'm a Virgo and saying this, okay? So what's really important here is it gives you that opportunity to kind of know that, okay, I've done my best. I've tried my best. I'm trying to be as meticulous as possible. And what I do see with the Wheel of Fortune, though, is that during this Mercury retrograde, some of you may find that you're earning more money, which I know is really bizarre and strange, that I've just given you so many negative things, but look, there are positives, okay? Like I said, Mercury is not the devil. It really honestly isn't. And, you know, there's financial stability that I see. Things are pretty balanced money-wise. Of course, just be careful with, you know, bank details and all of that kind of stuff, which I'm sure many of you already are. You know, there are so many scammers out there that are looming and lurking from here and there. I know that many of you, you know, you can see a dodgy email when you see one. You're not stupid, and that's one thing I do want to mention, is that I'm not trying to say that you guys are silly or anything like that. It's just about being a bit more self-aware during this period of time, and you will be okay. Okay, literally, you will be okay if you double check things, if you reread things, if you have strong passwords, if you just check before you travel, and if you are aware that little delays can happen here and there, and you're prepared for that. Brilliant, you're going to get through this retrograde. If, you know, technology glitches and things like that happen, and you know that, okay, there can be delays here, then you're prepared, right? So I think that's really, really important. I'll tell you one thing that literally happened to me, actually. My email, so the email that I actually use for, you know, Moonlight Guidance, I can read all my emails, but I can't respond to anyone. So I made a new email, and everything's, you know, changed and updated. So, you know, you can always, you can find it now without problems. But if you did want to email, if you go to my channel and you see the banner at the top, so actually I'll show you on my phone, but you can do this on any kind of device. If you go to my channel, then at the banner, it's a blue banner, you'll see my email address on there. But yeah, that's just what I wanted to mention. Everything is literally on there. Oh look, how wonderful. It's all delayed on here as well because it's taking forever. This is what I'm talking about, okay? It's just be prepared that this can happen. Okay, so here we go. So if you go to my YouTube channel, you'll find this blue banner, okay? And it's just got my email address on there. And so, yeah, I just thought I'd mention that because even I'm having problems with this retrograde. I always have problems with retrogrades because I'm very, very heavily ruled by Mercury. And I've mentioned this a few times. Trust me, I've dealt with it all, okay? I've lost my channel a couple of years ago, and then I also lost, oh my gosh, my Etsy store at one point. Oh my gosh, like, stressful, okay? Very, very stressful. This time it happened to be my emails. How brilliant, you know? It's amazing. But the good news is I can read them, so I just like kind of copy and paste the email addresses and use my new email and then kind of like write back to the person. Yeah, you know, you got to work around these kinds of things. Okay. And luckily I've managed to email everyone who's emailed me, so it's all good. You know, the worst thing would be kind of getting locked out of it altogether. Oh my god, that would be so stressful because I wouldn't be able to respond to anyone. Anyways, so the whole point of this is the moon energy is quite powerful, okay? The moon energy here also goes to show that some of you may find yourself feeling very emotional during this time because you're frustrated. You know, when one thing goes wrong and then you're thinking, oh my god, this is just ruining my day, you know, you may find yourself feeling emotional. However, I also feel here as well with judgment that there's also this sense here of you realizing that, okay, you know, it's a retrograde and I'm trying my best, I'm doing my best, it's not all completely my fault, I'm trying, then, you know, you will feel better. And the Seven of Pentacles here is also about this sort of reflection. Like you might find yourself thinking into space a lot during this time, wondering, pondering, contemplating, also coming up with new ideas, making interesting decisions. Okay, so the thing here is that there are some pros for sure. And yes, there are some not so pros, but the pros here are beautiful because it shows here that you'll be coming up with ideas, decisions, you'll be coming from a place of real logic and doing things, you know, from your mind and your heart still. But of course, just be careful when you are signing contracts and writing things and doing things. Just be a little bit more careful, and I think that that's really the main thing, for sure. You know, if you know you have somewhere to go, just make sure, you know, you charge things before you go, because you might find that your phone doesn't hold as much battery, and you know, these kinds of things can really honestly happen, and it's just something to keep in mind, for sure. So yeah, I think, and also keeping people's kind of like numbers on you and things like that, just in case you need them. You know, I think this is actually quite significant. You know, if you're booking appointments, just double check that they are booked and double check, you know, the day and the time, because honestly there can be so much miss everything, misorganization. Even though Mercury retrograde is all about organization, it can kind of make you feel just like super overwhelmed. And so that's another thing to keep in mind, especially with the Six of Pentacles. Like I honestly, I know this sounds really like it kind of sounds a bit egoistic of me to say, but I feel like I am the queen of this retrograde because Honestly, I have dealt with so many issues, you know, with, oh God, over like last 3 years, ever since I started my channel, from actually losing my channel at one point and YouTube being like, no, we're not going to give it back to you. And then them realizing actually it's not even my fault, to, you know, things just completely going wrong with video and audio. And I know for those of you that have been following my channel, you know that I really have struggled a lot with just, you know, with my whole channel and everything. And, you know, I've had, you know, issues with PayPal, I've had issues with Etsy, and my whole Etsy store got taken down for no reason. And then after a month, they gave it back because they realized, again, it was never my fault and it was just the automatic system. And, you know, honestly, like, I really genuinely believe that there is a way to get through this retrograde. And there is also a very, very popular mantra as well, which you can use, which I've also used a lot as well, and it's definitely helped over the years, for sure. And one of the reasons why this Mercury retrograde doesn't really seem to get so much easier, especially for me, is mainly because I'm heavily ruled by Mercury. So it's one thing also where you can check your birth chart to see which is your most dominant planet. That will tell you a lot about which retrograde can also impact you the most. But, you know, I honestly, you know, it's actually forced me to kind of be a lot more careful and a lot more meticulous with how I handle things. So, you know, the retrograde itself can help you tremendously in terms of that, but it can also allow you to be a little bit more careful in regards to where you put things and store things and who you trust. This is very important because I think also who you trust is very, very important. And this, you know, in the retrograde, I think that you'll realize that there are some people you can trust and some people you can't. And so you should listen to your gut and your intuition also when making decisions based upon that as well. So I think that's very, very important as well. So the mantra, which is really great to chant, you can do it on a prayer bead. Okay, so I also have prayer beads, but except mine's not here, mine's in my office. So prayer beads have 108 beads. Ideally, you want to do 108. You want to do one set of 108. If you want to do more, you can, absolutely. And the mantra is quite a long one. Okay, so this you can also Google as well, but it's Om BHUM BUDHAYA NAMAHA. Om BHUM BUDHAYA NAMAHA. Okay, so Om BHUM BUDHAYA NAMAHA. Okay, that is the mantra that really helps with the energies of the retrograde. Ideally, you want to kind of start this in the shadow period of the retrograde and continue it until the shadow period of the end of the retrograde has finished. But since I didn't give you that information beforehand, which I really do apologize about, you can also use this mantra and chant it, you know, even before going to sleep or when you wake up. Om BHUM BUDHAYA NAMAHA. I'll put it in the description box of the video, but it's really powerful, it's really strong. I, you know, highly recommend that you use it. It can help to ward away the energies. Look, you can't completely get rid of the energies of a retrograde, right? It's like warding, it's like anxiety, right? You can help to reduce anxiety, but you can't always get rid of it. Same with the retrograde energies. We can reduce the impact and the effect of it, but we can't always get rid of it. That's exactly how I would show you, kind of give you that comparison, which I think actually is very important. So, you know, with someone who has struggled a hell of a lot with retrogrades, this is something that I know works, and I know that you can see an improvement in it. And I feel like for those of you that use the mantra, you know, over the course of time, you'll absolutely see a result. But also, you know, just know that don't give up. You know, if things go wrong, if things are difficult, if things are extremely stressful where you can't sleep at night and you just feel like, oh my God, like this thing is just irking me, annoying me, just know that this too shall pass, because you've got the moon card, which is about cycles and phases. Okay, and I will tell you this very often. Every single retrograde that's happened, I've dealt with something and it was stressful as hell. But essentially, there is a way around it. And that's the main thing here, is that these are not going to be like life-ending kind of situations where you're thinking to yourself, oh my God, I can't ever come out of this. It's not going to be like that. Okay, so I definitely wanted to mention that. And I don't want anyone to be scared, because some of you won't deal with things to such a degree and to such an effect. You won't deal with things to such a degree. But if you do, you got this, and that's really the main thing as well. So yeah, there's also the Mercury retrograde bracelet, intention bracelets on my website, which I know so many people have seen results with as well. And yeah, there's the mantra as well. These things will really help tremendously. And yeah, spiritual practice also helps tremendously as well. So I really hope this helps you. By the way, if this resonates with you, or if you claim it, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, comment down below as well. Let me know. And what else can I tell you? Oh yes, I have TikTok and Instagram as well. If anyone wants to follow me in there, all the information is down below. And by the way, also down below as well is information on the free reading giveaway, the private services I offer, and the intention items as well. So everything's there, and take care everyone. All right. Yeah, take care everyone. Bye.